Yo! Thank you, God, for a blessed day today, Lord. Thank you. And we back at it again with another reaction, man. Yes, sir. Today we got another Larry Bird video for y'all boys, man. We got the dumbest criticism of Larry Bird. Something like that, I think the title was. But, you know, somebody finna say something reckless, man, about Larry Bird. So y'all make sure y'all put y'all opinions down in the comments, cause I know y'all gonna be spazzing. Y'all don't play about no Bird. But before we start this video, man, please like this video for me, please, and make sure y'all just continue to keep building a relationship with God, cause God He love all of us and He doing so much for us, and we just blessed. So be thankful, be grateful. Let's get straight to this video. Yeah. Make sure y'all really tune in with God, though, because God really just changing our lives. There's a lot of people out there that's homeless, can't eat a meal, don't got no clothes on their back, and we just blessed. We got everything. So make sure y'all just start thanking God more. Real talk, man.
And I think the NBA has gotten way past the bounds and watching guys give up dunks to shoot threes on fast breaks. That kind of thing. I think that has hurt the game a lot. Now, that's me. I am old school, as we all know. JJ, perfect. But, you know, Bird shot plenty of threes. And they had Parrish and McHale. Bird shot plenty of threes. The best. And Bird is one of the great shooters in the history of the sport. Not even close.
Bird shot threes. He never was a volume shooter.
No, I know that, but he was a great three-point shooter. He was not good. He was great. He's one of the top 5 3-point shooters of all time.
I can already tell this going to be a hating video. JJ Redick.
We're not three-point shooting contest. He was phenomenal. Bird's a great shooter. And Bird didn't shoot.
I promise you, Larry Bird is in the room right now. JJ Redick won't take none of this stuff.
Oh, yes, he is. Did you see the three-point shooting that he put on, those clinics that he put on at the All-Star game?
Again,
did you watch?
Dog, it's just math. It's attempts, it's makes, and it's percentage. And there's no way you could ever argue Larry Bird is a top 3 3-point shooter of all time. You can't make that argument.
You're basing it on math. You're basing it on math and a time when he played. I'm basing it on just shooting. Bird is a unbelievable.
Again, we had this discussion the other day. About James Naismith. James Naismith invented the game. You were rewarded for putting the ball in the basket. There's plenty of people that have shot more, made more, and guess what? Made more at a higher percentage than Larry Bird from 3. I'm not saying Larry Bird is not one of the greatest shooters ever. He's not one of the greatest 3-point shooters ever.
Generally speaking, Larry Joe Bird is considered as not only one of the
JJ, bro, if Larry Bird was in that room right now, I promise you he wouldn't say none of that stuff, bro. He would just be saying anything at this point.
Although a growing number of people
who are you? Who is he to JJ Redick, bro?
Once upon a time, leading that charge was JJ Redick. Now, long before he was getting angry as the Lakers head coach, this narrative was getting him angry on ESPN, as you guys all saw in the intro. Before I get too deep into this, I have to say, I don't completely disagree with Redick. Saying Larry Bird is a top 5 3-point shooter of all time is probably a little too much.
But don't disrespect him.
Just off the top of my head, you have guys like Steph Curry, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Klay Thompson, and Damian
But don't
Lillard.
disrespect him on
That's
up there.
Like
he can't really knock down threes.
Then even competing for the next spots are guys like Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, Kevin Durant, and even James Harden, who was second all-time in three-pointers made. The point is, the competition is incredibly stiff. So I don't necessarily have a problem with someone having Bird out of their top 5. But what I do have a problem with is someone saying that Bird is objectively not one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time.
That's crazy.
Which again, Redick claimed adamantly.
I'm not saying Larry Bird is not one of the greatest shooters ever. He's not one of the greatest 3-point shooters ever.
To me, this growing
crazy
narrative
word.
is by far
That's
the dumbest
crazy word.
of Larry Bird. Because it's not only an ignorant
like,
thing
what's
to
wrong
say
with this
about
man?
Legend,
Come on, gang.
but it's also overly simplistic logic to apply against another era of basketball as a whole. Redick's argument is that Bird didn't shoot enough 3-point shots. The argument is mostly against his volume. The problem with that logic is that it's an unfair standard to apply to the NBA's past. Because prior to the 2010s, everyone shot a fraction of the 3-point shots that they're shooting today, which basically means that the only players that are allowed to be in the greatest 3-point shooters conversations are all guys that have played within the last 15 years. Here's where it gets really stupid though. In 2025, teams shot an average of 37.6 3-point attempts per game. And 40 years before that, teams were averaging 3.1 per game. In Steph Curry's historic 2016 season, he attempted 886 three-point attempts throughout the regular season. That was more than the top 2 teams in 1986 combined. Bird's Celtics as a whole only attempted 396 threes in 1986. To put it simply, if Steph Curry played in Bird's era, he wouldn't be allowed to shoot that many threes. No one was, because coaches at the time didn't think it was smart and efficient basketball. So Curry would have shot less threes in the 80s, but Bird would have shot significantly more in this era. Yet by Redick's logic, that would disqualify Steph from being in the conversation, regardless of how efficient he would have been, and regardless of how he would have stood out from the competition in that era. With that nonsensical logic, modern players like Tyler Herro and Jordan Poole are considered better three-point shooters than a prime Reggie Miller and a prime Ray Allen. Make it make sense. Now, at one point, Redick was in an interview and he was getting mad.
Everybody's shooting threes like crazy nowadays,
the argument against that is, well, if he had played in today's era, he would be a top 5. What? That doesn't even make sense. That's not based in reality or fact.
Bro,
Let's talk reality.
I wish I was on there. I would have been cooking
Bird
these
is one of
boys.
only 3 players to have multiple 50, 40, 90 seasons. The other 2 are a couple of the greatest three-point shooters of all time in Steve Nash and Kevin Durant. Redick claimed that Bird was never a volume three-point shooter, which is objectively incorrect. During Bird's first 50, 40, 90 season, he led the entire league in three-pointers made and in three-pointers attempted. That same season, Bird was attempting more three-point attempts per game than the entire Detroit Pistons roster, which is who his Celtics played against in the Eastern Conference Finals. The year prior, in their historic 1986 season, Bird averaged more three-point attempts per game than nearly 1/3 of the teams within the league. Between 1985 and 1992, with a minimum of 400 games played, Bird had the 4th best three-point percentage in the entire league, and he was 2nd overall in attempts during that span, only bested by the very underrated Dale Ellis, who I would argue is also one of the all-time great three-point shooters. Larry Bird is tied for the most three-point contests won in NBA history with a total of 3. In Bird's final round of the 1986 three-point shootout, he scored 22 out of a possible 30 points. That is 73.3% of a possible perfect score.
That's green beans.
Which is the 9th highest.
That's straight $100 bills.
All-time great shooters like Ray Allen, Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, and Dirk Nowitzki have never achieved a final round score that efficient.
Tweaking, man.
JJ Redick has also never achieved a score that high, regardless of the round.
This guy.
Which is necessary for me to state, seeing how he never made it past the first round in a three-point contest.
This man will be a plumber.
Despite the fact that he tried multiple times. Plain and simple, Bird was one of the greatest three-point shooters in NBA history. I personally don't care if you have him outside of your top 5, top 10, or top 20, because all of that can be debated. But to act like he doesn't belong in the conversation at all, simply because
who is
of the
this guy
era
to
he played
speak
in,
on these
while
podcasts?
completely ignoring the context of the time, is simply one of the dumbest criticisms that you could possibly make. So what do you guys think? Where do you personally rank Larry Bird among the greatest shooters in NBA history? I look forward to hearing your thoughts below. Stay tuned for more videos in this quote.
Alright, man. Let's break this down, man. JJ Redick, if you was playing in the 80s, in the 90s, in the in the 2000s, you would be a cleaning boy. You would be cleaning. You know what I'm saying? You have no room to talk about nothing. Larry Bird is one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time. You have no room to talk at all. What did you have accomplished? If Larry Bird was in this era right now, they already saying about Michael Jordan. Why ain't saying about Mike? They saying Mike would average 50 against y'all boys. Easy 50. If Larry Bird was in this league right now, y'all was born with trainers. These players, Michael Jordan, all them, they had to work out the mud. There's a lot of players today that had to work out the mud, but a lot of y'all have trainers. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have trainers, so you have no room to talk. If Larry Bird was playing today's game and he had to learn how to shoot more threes, he would cook the league, man. Hey, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Man, I'll see y'all, man.